What's broken with the VC game?
What's broken with the VC game? That's an interesting one. I think that we don't know, we going back to the crypto world and what was happening more a couple of years ago, not so much now with ICOs and those kind of things. I think that lots of startups were bypassing altogether the VCs and getting gigantic rounds of financing or getting financing through ICOs without the participation of VCs. I think that some of those ideas worked, several didn't. But then at the end of the day, if you look at companies that the VCs backed, the same thing happened, right? A few worked really well, but most did not. So I don't know if it's a more efficient or a thing or not. But I think that that is something to see how it evolves. I still believe that is more art than science, what we do. But many people believe otherwise and think that there are things that are more related to data and to these more efficient ways or faster ways to allocate resources. So let's see what happens. I think I don't have an answer to it. Obviously, I believe that it still depends on people and your capacity to identify those very extraordinary founders that emerge every now and then. In particular, if you're investing early, right? Maybe if you invest a little bit later, the data approach could work because you have data. But when we invest, I don't know, the data we have is what that founder did in the past. And sometimes those founders are so young that they didn't do much because they were too young to do something. So, so that's one. Then I think that, as we were discussing earlier, it's going to be more competitive. And we need to make sure that competition ends up being productive and not destructive. So you may have lots of people playing the game now because the US has become too expensive. I'm investing in Latin America. That is no reason for investing. Maybe that's a reason for not investing in the US, but that doesn't mean that you need to invest in America. I think that you need to invest in America because you've identified an opportunity, you identified an entrepreneur, and you want to back them. And not doing arbitrage. I think that this is not an industry for arbitraging. That's when you have two assets and both will have some value, but then one you think is a little too pricey, the other a little too cheap. So you short one, you go long for the other, and you make some money. But here, both assets can be worth zero. So arbitraging doesn't work. So I think it's very, very important to make sure that we with lots of imperfect information and assuming lots of risks, we need to remain as rational as possible, because what I don't want is to see a backlash of Latin America does not work. I think we're beyond that point, and some of the companies that are being built today will be here for the next decades. But the more of those companies we have out there, the more a virtuous circle we'll have in the region. And again, as I was saying earlier, what we all want is for Latin America to be a more developed place, a more developed region. For that to happen, I think we need technology. Without technology, we cannot do that. Some people believe that because of the natural resources that we have, we can do something. I think that will not be enough. We need technology, and for technology, you need this ecosystem with virtuous circles of great entrepreneurs, good investors, great education institutions that keep on fostering the ecosystem. So the more good things happen, the better. The more bad news we end up having, the worse, right? So we need to hopefully be in the first scenario, not the second one.